some of the mentors that I have had have come from strange places. Out of the blue, unexpected, underrated, maybe, individuals who may have just said something or done something that stuck with me, motivated me, and actually left me mystified, mesmerized, impressed with their words and what they actually meant. And as life went on and I remembered them, maybe they meant even more later when I was in a place where I was more greatly receptive of that influence, or able to actually flesh out the meaning behind the words and the value there. Everybody ain't always ready for everything that they encounter. But a lot of the lessons in life, things that you're going to run across in your experience and you're going to learn, you may not be able to metabolize that, process that to its full worth at that moment. It may take a while, but you carry that with you, and you might one day look and say, well, you know what? That rings true to me now. I understand. So a lot of the things that have influenced me might seemingly be small things, but they added up in totality. For instance, there was an older senior matriarch named Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Dorothy Smith, who I'll never forget her words, some of her words of wisdom. For instance, she had a habit of saying, men who know better do better. And that really rings true. And she also said to me one time that there are two kind of people, Mrs. Smith, she said, talking about herself third person. Two kind of people Mrs. Smith ceases to engage once I realize that I'm talking to one of these two people. And that is either a drunkard, or an irrational. Once I realize I'm dealing with either one of those, I don't waste my breath anymore. And that was pretty credible and powerful thing too. One of the most powerful things said to me was said to me by a friend who actually, believe it or not, he was, and the only reason I'm telling you this, I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to glorify any kind of behavior or any kind of thing, and I'm not trying to say, I'm for or against, I'm just saying, because these words of wisdom and these golden nuggets can come from unexpected places. So this friend of mine happened to be an officer in a one percenter club, a big one percenter club, and this is years and years ago. Sorry about that. Card was full. I had to delete some things, older video clips. Like I was saying, this good friend of mine, he was an officer at a one percenter club at the time. This is many years ago, and I was in one of numerous string of relationships through all fault of my own with a woman, young lady. I was in my 20s, and it was all about the bike. It was all about the bike and having a good time and running around. I was a famous maniac on a motorcycle. I've always turned wrenches. I had some fast, crazy stuff, and I was just burning down day after day. I mean, looking at it now, it was a hell of a time, hell of a ride, great time. But looking at it now, it seems like, I don't know, I don't regret any of it, but it feels as if it maybe could have been a better, the amount of time spent, some of the ways I spent it maybe could have been put to better use, right, or invested better. At any rate, I don't know, we had a couple of words, she and I, it was at her house, over God knows what. It's something inconsequential now, but so of course I storm out of there because I'm going to jump on my bike then. I'm going to get on my bike. That's what I do, man. I'm a biker. The bike will provide. So I go out and I jump on the bike. I'm not standing for any of this. I'm leaving. I get on the bike. I'm free. like call him first and say, hey, bro, I can't take any more of this. I got to get the hell out of here. I'm clearing out of here. Care if I crash with you? Won't be very long, at least just tonight. I'll work something else out. Right? Basically a nomad. And he said, yeah, meet me at such and such a place up the street from his house. And we'll have a drink and let's talk about what's going on. Whatever, whatever's on your mind. I said, okay. So, I blast up there. It was chilly. I don't know what time of year it was. It wasn't in the middle of summertime, that's for sure. I blast up there and go in and sit down. He's in there. We sit down and have a shot of beer, and we start rapping. And he said to me, he said, he heard what my gripe was, and he said, I'm not exactly sure how he worded it, but he basically said, paraphrasing, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? He said, you realize where you're at, where you're going, right? You have nothing. You have nothing. You have great potential. You have the means, but you have nothing. What are you doing? Where are you going? And I was like taken aback by this. I was like, this guy's my buddy. We've been in situations together, crazy stuff, and just done a lot of irresponsible, nutty shit together. Who is he to say some shit like this to me? Who is he to say some shit like this to me? To judge me? Who is he in this way? You're kidding me? The way he behaves, the things that he does, he's no better than me. Fuck is he? Who is he to say something like this to me? But we were such very good friends that I didn't know how to respond to that. I was offended, but I didn't know how to respond to that exactly. We talked a while, had a little bit more to drink, and I eventually just went back to the girl and worked it out for however long or whatever, that evening or at least. But the whole point is, that didn't mean a lot to me immediately. It irritated me, pissed me off a little bit. But things that we had experienced and lived through together, he and I, were enough that we had each shown the other who we really were. I mean, we were there for each other. It was true brotherhood. So because he was really a brother, although I was taken aback by it and I was insulted, and I was a little bit irritated about it, I was pissed about it, but I held back my tongue. I wasn't going to, out of respect for who he was to me, who we were to each other, I wasn't going to, fly off the handle and, getting his shit about, how dare you say something like that. I wasn't going to, who the hell are you? Look at the kind of shit you do too. I mean, I didn't go that way with it. I internalized it, and it didn't really click to me, but it bothered me, so it stayed in my head for a while, and that was a good thing. It was a good thing, because he was right. He was right. I'm not saying that he should have been a motivational speaker, set about on a mission to tell people these kinds of things, because he really did live a life and practice some bad behavior himself, but that others could have easily judged. But I'll tell you what, it was the right thing that I needed to hear at the right time. And although it didn't sink into me then and have a very positive effect, later, as I reflected on it, I came to understand that, yeah, he was right, because time keeps ticking away, and I wasn't moving forward. I wasn't gaining any ground in life with a lot of that behavior. And a lot of those years, not that there were that many of them, I was only in my 20s then, but still they were wasted years. And I didn't get any better immediately, believe me, but it really did mean something and have a positive impact eventually. When it sunk in and really got to the seed of it, nut of it, and I understood. So, tough love. And, I have said things to brothers out of love that, and sometimes out of frustration when I see a brother that I know has better in him, that I have seen it, that he has the ability to do and be so much more and so much better, and yet chooses to just flounder in just treading water and just doing himself a great injustice. I think that you have the ability to be better, to do better, to positively affect things in the world around you, yet you refuse to do so. I think that's a great loss, terrible, terrible loss. Not only for you, those around you, and if you go so far as to do the opposite, that you negatively influence things around you, that you create a negative atmosphere or world or swirl around you that people get caught up in and have to endure. I think that that's wrong. Just cut and dry. And so at times I may say things, and I do, to brothers that I may be working with, and I'm sure that there are times that they do not appreciate. Now, don't get me wrong, they appreciate when I help. They appreciate me when I say, oh, here's help. They appreciate that, although they don't even recognize necessarily always they appreciate it. They don't seem very appreciative. Why do I say that? Because they don't pay it forward. They don't pay it forward. How can you accept help and then refuse to offer? How can you just take and not give? I'm not saying give to me. I don't need anything. All I need is if I help and I give because others have helped and given to me, I need and expect that brother or sister to follow suit and do the same. When that person is in a situation, in a position that they can help, that they can make something better for another, that they can give back, I expect that they do that. Anyway, so this is Gorilla with a Cause. And there's a lot of stuff we do for fun. We ride motorcycles, a lot of us. We lift weights. Although I've been out in the gym a month, I'm back in now. I've been back in for 2 days. We engage in all kind of activities together. We have a good time. We cook out, we eat. We got to cook out here today. We eat together. We're going to a bike show next week, a whole bunch of us. We're taking our bikes. We do all kind of stuff together. But we aren't any one of those things alone. We are a totality of, we're a brotherhood, a sisterhood. We are family. We are an organization, like-minded individuals, kindreds, that although we're all individuals and each of us have different strengths, different weaknesses, that's real diversity. Different strengths, different weaknesses, different skill sets. Different resources, that's networking. But what we all share in common is the very simple, fundamental agreement that it's worthwhile to endeavor to become a better version of yourself, to just become a better person than you are today. To each one's level, wherever you are today. Fundamental, simple, simplistic. That's worth trying. Trying. Is that asking too much? Trying? Anyway, it's very little. In between, the rest of it all is just filler. It's fun. It's life. It's living. But that you can affect positive change, that you can affect positive influence. You can inspire, you can motivate, positive manner, that you can make someone smile or laugh rather than frown or cry. That's what it's about. That's the preferred route to go. That's the preferred way. There are people out there that think if you can make somebody cry or if you can make somebody frown, that makes you something. It does, but it doesn't make you anything good. So that in a nutshell is what we're about. And, I'm not some kind of enlightened monk. I struggle, I fall short, believe me. I grow impatient, catch myself and put myself in check every day, at least once. But I care enough to do that. I see the value in doing that. I try. All right, you guys take care. I hope you had an awesome weekend. I have some more videos to put up. I got some announcements to make, things that we're into, stuff that's going on. So you'll see me again hopefully very soon. Have a great evening.